Y'all, I'm going to just tell you that the devil is busy. The devil is very busy with people in a way that, maybe I never paid attention to it, or maybe it's just a lot more aggressive. But the devil is busy with people. And as I think about Black America, what it takes to get us in the right frame of mind, a lot of people talk about the problems of the Black community, but there are some remedies that can happen that can kind of change the trajectory of the mindset of the Black community. And a lot of people are talking about this. And I'm actually very glad. I'm very glad that a lot of people in the Black community are having conversations about the influences and the influencers. Any luck with the Wi-Fi extender? I have it. I just have to connect it. I have like all these wires, so I have to refigure my workstation. So I'm going to get there. I'm not a big technology happy person. So I have a lot of wires over here. So I need to get everything reorganized. But we're talking about a couple of conversations that came up today with the wireless, not wireless, but within the Black community. And a lot of people are talking about Little Nas X. And I like the way that a lot of these conversations are going, especially among Black men. Black men, and just for those of you who are not in tune with these conversations, they feel very much attacked, just like any other man in this country. Masculinity is something that the liberals have gone after very, very, very aggressively. And they have been very meticulous in how they have started targeting our young boys. Roblox. If your kids watch Roblox, just be careful of the little sagas that they participate in. A lot of these video games and even YouTube itself, you need to be careful when it comes to your young male child, because what you might think they're looking at a cartoon or something like that, you go in there and you'll see maybe some homosexual behaviors being incorporated. And thank you, Marshall, I will, are being incorporated, in, these cartoons to influence our children. Now, this brings me to Little Nas X, because I am very happy at the fact that a lot of Black men are standing up and rejecting that. Anybody that caught his BET award, I felt like that was a direct target of our teenage male Black men, trying to get them to look at homosexuality in that light. And another young Black brother made the comment that Lil Nas X is actually bad for the gay and lesbian community as well, because he's going so overboard that he's trying to infiltrate people's hearts with hate. You know what I mean? And you got to think about these subversive tactics that these individuals in the liberal entertainment space are using, excuse me, to trick our young boys into thinking that that type of lifestyle is acceptable and that it's something that they could possibly embrace. I read an article where the American Pediatric Association is encouraging parents at the tender age of even my son, 3 years old, allowing him to explore his gender, allowing him to wear dresses and makeup. And these are things that a lot of liberal parents are letting their sons do, letting them embrace these lifestyles. And we wonder why we have a whole bunch of people that have gender dysphoria. I'm blaming it on the parents, specifically the mothers. I'm blaming it on the mothers, for sure. So Little Nas X, in my opinion, he is just another demonic strategy to continuously emasculate young boys, feminize men, and these are things that people should outwardly reject. And that's all I want to say about that, because I don't subscribe to Lil Nas X. I think the Black community should absolutely reject that disgusting thing. Now let's get to Gwen Berry, because I posted a couple of opinions about her peaceful protest. And, I got a lot of people that disagree with my opinion, but this is my opinion. That is ridiculous that parents are wrong. Let their children be children. Yes. And my thing is, I think it is the responsibility of the parents. And here's the thing. You look at some of these people with R. Kelly, some of them little girls and stuff like that. Those parents of those girls that allegedly R. Kelly violated, supposedly they knew what it was. A lot of these parents ain't nothing. A lot of these parents are putting their kids in a position where these deviants, that's what they are, these rich deviants, are violating their children. Who, I don't know what the relationship is between Lil Nas X's father and him, but all I can say is that what they are profiting on, even if it's not true to him, it's going to eat him up. When you play at the tables with the demons, you're not going to have a happy life. That's why you have all these celebrities that are on drugs right now. They all messed up. They rich people. They haven't been able to actualize themselves into their skill or capabilities. And why are these celebrities all messed up? Because they don't realize that the game that they're playing in is heavily demonic. You look at so many of you look at hip hop music today, and it is infiltrated with satanic rituals. So, getting back, Gwen Berry. I think she was in the hammer tossing. She ended up getting a bronze medal. But this clown, and this is what I'm calling her because she looked like a clown too, with the way she do her makeup. This clown decided that she wanted to turn her back on the national anthem. And, here's the thing. And like I said, I'm going to read what I put on LinkedIn. I want to see all my people do well. But if some Blacks cannot bring themselves to respect this country for the opportunities that it has afforded many of us, I personally think that they need to leave and stop trying to represent us in sports. If you don't want to be American, if you do not like America, you have enough money to leave. There are a lot of Blacks that are moving to Ghana these days. Stop embarrassing our nation on the national stage. At this point, people aren't making statements. They are looking stupid and disgraceful. How do you go to represent and not represent, and you think you look glorious? Okay. Now, a lot of people came back at me and said, this is her freedom of speech. My thing is, if you wanted to protest America, then you should have told the Olympic Committee that you respectfully declined because of your social and political viewpoints. Why in the world would you go all the way out there, and then turn your back on your team and your country on some silly Marxist shit? And this is what Black people need to stop subscribing to. We should stop looking at these idiots who are making these political statements, these contradictory statements. And then she goes, I never said I hated my country. It's like, you don't have to say that you don't hate your country to demonstrate that you hate your country. Some things are not spoken. Gwen Berry. I don't care if you're Black or if you are white. If you hate America so much, get the hell out of this country. And when you get the hell out of this country, please send me a postcard to let me know how the other countries are treating your ass. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that America is the last free world. It's the last free world. And there's a lot of people who want to talk about they believe in God. And I'm talking about these Marxist-minded Democrats. You don't believe in God. Because nowhere in the Marxist model does it have religion. So you are literally vesting your hopes and dreams in the state. Liberal symbolism Some people think they're doing something. You know what? Here's the thing. And some of these people had a nerve to go to church. They had a nerve to go to church, and then you want to buy into these man-made symbols. A 700 statue of George and these happy little Negroes going and taking pictures of this. A political sacrifice. Nancy Pelosi called the man a political sacrifice. And yet you got all these happy little ignorant Negroes going to take picture by this statue. That man is not a martyr, and he will never be a martyr in the Black community. And I'm not about to throw shade on George Floyd and his background, because I don't do that. But all I can say is that George Floyd is not a beacon for the Black community. It is something that many of us reject because Black people are tired of being thrown symbols. And, Gwen Berry, I think that she thought she was going to make some political statement and she was going to make history. But what you're about to do is sabotage your career. Because I don't think that at this point, Black people should be so pro-Black that we stupid. What Gwen Berry did was absolutely embarrassing to this country. And I don't care how much you hate America, you don't do ignorant things like that. What she did was not symbolic. What she did was not freedom of speech to make a statement. What she did was absolutely ignorant. How she could have protested the Olympics is refusing to represent America. That's all you got to do. But that's all the way over there and turn your back on your team and your country. And that is exactly why I believe that she should get kicked off of that team. Do they got a backup hammer thrower that can actually flag and the anthem? And then she gonna sit up there and talk about she was set up because they played it at a certain time. Baby, you're being endorsed. The Olympics aren't about you and your internal feelings about anything. They're not about to change the program because you want to make political statements. Who the hell set you up to go represent America? I would like to know that. Who the hell set Gary up with these radical ass social Marxist views? Who the hell set that girl up to go represent the United States of America? It's a setup that your ass is representing this country right now and turning your back on us. I feel like that was a setup. I feel like you got paid by China to do that foolish shit. Exactly. Nobody can top the Black Power fist in the 70s, so they can stop it. And that's what they're trying to do. They're like the Democrats, they are so not original. These people are not original. These people absolutely are not original. That is why they continuously recycle rhetoric, recycle situations to re-inflame the emotions of people. And what Tiff said is exactly, nobody can stop the Black Power fist in the 70s. So they can't top it. That's right. So they can stop. You know what I mean? And this is what they're constantly trying to do. Recreate these beacons, these moments of symbolisms for Black so that we can get all in our feelings and stuff and feel empowered. What Gwen Berry did was not Black empowerment. It made Black people look foolish. Black people are looking stupid because she gonna get her ass on a plane and come right back here to this country and turn her back on. Absolutely, to me, it is so offensive. And it's like Black people should not be biting into this as freedom of speech. I had one lady on LinkedIn, she said it's her freedom of speech. And I'm like, well, it's the Olympic Committee's freedom to not select her or allow her to go on representing the United States. And I think they need to be thinking about this as these athletes who basically they trained, they got their opportunities, they were able to realize their dreams in a country that afforded them to do it. And then they get on the national platform and basically turn their backs on their country. And, one of my LinkedIn connections made the point. If she was representing any other country, she would probably be dead. Because some countries don't tolerate that disrespect. There are some very extreme, radical countries that some of these American-hating folks could be living in right now. And let's see how much freedom you have to do all the dumb stuff and say all the dumb stuff and all your feeling stuff here. Only in America can people express their and protest. But I believe that there is a time, place, and manner. And that woman literally did not, in my opinion, utilize the right time, place, or manner to protest. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. She was on a national platform competing with other people from different places. That's not when you make a political statement. And Black people, my people, please reject this. Please do not reject this as a symbol of empowerment or protest. This is a symbol of ignorance. And this is what these people are constantly trying to force feed to us. Let's put some Black faces in front of them and give them a beacon and they'll just bite. Black people, we got to stop biting the bait on this. Gwen Berry, shame on you. Shame on you. I don't care what nobody say, shame on you. You're not making a statement. You're making yourself and the country look ridiculous. Well, she wanted attention and get 10 minutes of fame, not to bring awareness or whatever she was trying to advocate. I really don't get what she was trying to do there, because for her to sit up there and try to defend herself saying hate America, how else would anybody take that? When you're turning your back on a flag, what is that a statement of? What is that a statement of? Because to me, the biggest statement that you could have possibly made is just tapping out and saying, no, I don't want to participate and represent America. That would have been a big protest that everybody could have still had a new hammer thrower. I mean, I guess that's what you do. And then you're going to get the bronze. You making statements with the bronze. Out of control. Out of control. Out of control. Gwen Berry turns back to U.S. flag during national anthem at Olympic trials. Says she was set up. She embarrassed herself. Black Americans aren't giving her much attention. No, not at all. I really feel like this was a social justice warrior clout chase that went wrong. Because I don't think she's going to be remembered for this at all. She's not going to be remembered for going and turning her back on the U.S. flag. Black people not even going to remember that. She thought she was doing something profound. She thought she was going to clout chase the social justice warrior train. And a lot of people are not even talking about her like that. Not at all. So I'm telling my people, it's not just for Black people. I don't care if you're white or Black. And I mean this. If you hate America so much, leave. Get out. Get out of this country. And this is what befuddles me, is that all these rich people with a whole bunch of money, talking about they hate America. And I'm like, take your ass somewhere else. Lots of Black people are going to Ghana. I'm looking on YouTube. There are a lot of Black Americans who have decided to go to Ghana. And I'm thinking to myself, why aren't some of these wealthy Blacks that keep running their mouth about how racist this country is, why haven't you gone to Ghana somewhere? Because it's not like it's not even a trend among Black people now to go back to African countries and live. But y'all already know what the deal is. Y'all not going to have the experience that you have in America, so quit playing. It's a slap in the face for Blacks who had worked their butts off and didn't qualify, who gets an opportunity to compete in the Olympics. She clearly does not care about opportunity. No, because she's trying to capitalize on some conversations that are really kind of dying down in the Black community. I don't care what the liberal media want to project. Black people are not riddled with racism like they want to be riddled with racism. And that's just the bottom line. Sometimes it's like, as a Black person, I'm like, what part of America is this damn racist? Because I live in Detroit. And I've lived in the Metro Detroit area most of my life. And I have never seen the degree of racism that these people are talking about. And I'm like, sometimes I feel like, some of these instances of racism, especially with these Karens, I believe that they're just staged. Shit, the liberals got the media. It's not too far-fetched for me to believe that they stage a lot of stuff for Americans to believe and see. Because they're crafty little devils. The liberals are crafty little devils. And they are trying to infiltrate the mindsets of Americans in any way they can. They don't want the family to be together. That's why the FCC will tag Eminem for talking about putting his mama in the trunk, right? Remember when the FCC was pinging Eminem for rapping about all those things where he did to women and stuff like that? They pinged him. But the FCC will let Black men talk about how they can kill each other all day. Like, the FCC, it's amazing. I feel like Black people are the only group in this country where the FCC says, yes, please, let them make each other look as ignorant as possible. Let's turn Black women into twerking whores. Let's turn Black men into violent criminals. Let's filter young Black men with gang rap music. That's what's on the radio today. Gang rap music. The most popular song in the hip hop space right now playing in Detroit is called Get It Back in Blood, which is almost a gang anthem for how you gonna kill somebody else, or talking about you done killed somebody else. I mean, this is what they're playing to young Black boys. Gang anthem music from former gang members. It's amazing how many former gang members are just blowing up to the top. The FCC do not care about Black people. They don't. The entertainment space do not care about Black people. That's why Black people need to start caring about ourselves. Because we need to be able to say, you're not going to force feed this BS to our young daughters. You're not going to infiltrate our young boys' minds with this homosexuality and all of this violence. Because they started it with the young boys early, with the young Black boys with Call of Duty. Call of Duty might have seemed innocent at first, but these brothers are out here in these streets playing Call of Duty with each other for real. They call rival gang members ops. That's what's going on. And these entertainment spaces are literally allowing this type of music to be played to our brothers, infiltrate our young girls, and they're using all kinds of colorful strategies to make this stuff look innocent. Like, I think that TikTok is the devil. My kids do not use TikTok. I don't believe in that subversive type digital influence. TikTok is a zone for idiots. It is a zone for individuals who want to get sucked into nothingness. There's nothing intellectual about TikTok. Maybe you'll find some little sprinkled in there, but for the most part, TikTok is to keep you distracted from actualizing yourself in an intelligent way and thinking critically. And if you're not practicing thinking critically by talking to people, having discussions, meaningful conversations, you're getting sucked in. This is why I tell my kids, y'all cannot be zumped into cyberspace, because if you're not thinking and using your brain, you are getting dumber. If you're not getting smarter, you're getting dumber. Most people don't care about Black people because they don't see us as competitive because of what they push out there. Most people care about themselves when it comes to advances. That and Instagram is the worst. Yep, and Lex, you're absolutely on point. And that's why Black people need to start taking a stand. We are one of the only communities that do not rebel against the image of our people. We don't. Like, you let the Asians and they start painting multiple Asian women as sluts and twerkers and all this stuff, and that's the face front of what they're making every Asian women. I bet you the Asians will shut that down, just like they shut down that Asian hate. I bet you they'll shut it down because the Asians like, go give it back to the black people, all that hate crime stuff, because we don't play that. Asians will take control over their narrative real quick. That's why they won't let the Democrats exploit them, because they will shut it down. Black people need to learn how to shut the narratives that they want to constantly project about our people down. We do. We do, because to me, it makes no sense that we don't have more of a variety of influences for our young black girls in the mainstream. And unfortunately, even our black athletes, they done turn Marxists, so they can't even be trusted because, like Kwame Brown said, they the go along, get along gang, and they all friends with people that are paid to keep us in a marginalized state of thinking and living. Imagine if most of our people stood up and we said, we reject Megan Thee Stallion, not because of you, but because of the brand that they keep projecting for black women. And Cardi B ain't black. I don't care how African garbed up her latest little picture is for her. She ain't black. Okay? But imagine if the black community said, we reject Cardi B because of the way that she culturally appropriates our people and our women. We reject any hip hop artist that creates a scenario or image of black people that is violent, highly sexualized, or outright satanic. Imagine if black people stop buying into this. Imagine if we stop buying into this. And a lot of us have. A lot of us don't even listen to that. A lot of us go to the underground and get our inspiration from those artists, because those artists have not been bought into an image that they have to project onto our people. And the black women are the most unsupportive of each other black women in the world. Well, you should check out my video about false female empowerment, because black women, I love my sisters, my reasonable sisters, my sisters that can stand on their own and not be threatened by other women. But black women, I'm telling you, some of us can be so grimy to other black women. We absolutely can. It's like, I always hear, hey sis, and all this empowerment. I'm like, black women, they empower who they want to empower. You know what I mean? And that's word 100. When you see a drove of insecure black women kind of coming together or whatnot, it's going to be drama for an individual that has a sense of self-actualization and confidence about themselves. It's just how it is. And we got to do better. We got to do better. But I don't really confine those type of rivalries to black women, because I've seen Asian women have their little rivalries. I think some characteristics of different, groups are kind of transcending into other ones. But black women do need to do better in terms of our empowerment and what we believe is empowerment, because Megan Thee Stallion is not black empowerment. That is not black empowerment at all. That's not black female empowerment at all. I would never want my daughter to be like Megan Thee Stallion. And when I think about empowerment, I'm thinking about influences and people that I can actually say, I would love to emulate those people's qualities, or I would love for my daughter to be like this person. I don't think of these black women that the mainstream is trying to push out to our young girls and even our middle-aged black women. I don't subscribe to that. I used to when I was just feeling myself and ignorant, but now I realize that there is, and in a way, I think about black men talking about black women losing their sense of femininity. And I can kind of say that I agree with it, Because listening to hip hop music and listening to the type of hip hop music that I've listened to throughout the year, it has made me in my mindset a lot harder, and that's part of influence though. When you listen to hard music, when you listen to music that's just drilling into the emotions in any kind of way, that impacts you a lot. And Black people need to understand music is the Pied Piper to the brain. It is a huge influence, a huge influence. But my people need to start asking themselves, why is it that all of our music is coming out the same way? Why is it that every time we have a new artist, they got to project them in this defamed way almost? So I'm talking to my people. I'm talking to my people of America, whether you're Black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. I'm talking to my people, because white people need to stop subscribing to Black music that defames the Black community as well. You know what I mean? They should stop believing that this is something cool to Black people, but white people would never. You know what I mean? White people can't do certain things that Black people do because deep inside they don't want to. They just want to see us act out some of these things. And there's no shade against whites, but I'm just saying there are some white people that they pander to the ignorance of Black people, and they don't even realize it. When I look at Megan Thee Stallion's threads and I see all these white girls, you go girl, you go girl, you go girl. It's like they're encouraging this woman to be like this. They're filling her head up. And it's like somebody got to stop blowing these women's up. So it's like Black women, when it comes to our artists that represent us, we need to shut that down. We need to shut it down. Lil Nas X, the brothers are already on him about how he's trying to get into our young brother's head and infiltrate it with all kinds of perversion, in my opinion. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much for everyone who subscribed to that. They don't promote the degenerate images of their race because they're aware of the consequences. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? When you really check out, and I just want to hit up Shady Blogger, when you disconnect from a lot of these satanic influences, you will see yourself feeling lighter. You will see yourself feeling lighter. Thank you, Marshall. And that's what I'm telling people. Sometimes you got to disconnect from this digital space and find yourself again. Get your own clarity outside of any other influences but the ones that you handpick. And I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about in nature. You know what I mean? Sounds. Just disconnecting from people's craziness, I guess. You know what I mean? Some of this entertainment is not for us to really be entertained. It's for us to be subverted away from God, in my opinion. It's really like the Bible tells us to be careful of the machinations of the devil. And a lot of this is a machination of the devil. Marxism, to me, if I were to translate an American, being a Marxist, but still claiming they're a Christian, I'd be like, no, you're eating at the table of the demons and God, because Marxists have no type of religious indoctrination in their indoctrination. So you cannot be a Christian Black talking about you believe in God, and then you hold true to Marxist ideologies. You cannot say you don't hate America, Gwen Berry, if you make the executive decision to represent America and then you turn your back on your team and your flag and the anthem. That is an indication that you hate your country. Lil Nas X, again, he's a plant. He's a black op, a satanic image to subvert our young Black boys and teenagers and even other boys outside of the races of the Black community that follows that sexual deviant. He is subverting them from their masculinity. So you need to protect your young boys from that. Parents need to get back in the habit of telling their kids, no, you cannot listen to that. No, you cannot entertain that artist. Just because your friends want to be influenced by this demonic person doesn't mean that you have to jump on the train of stupid and demonic. So we need to start teaching our kids again, guiding them, and may helping them understand with this music and some of this socialization to their own mental development. I'm no longer on social media. Every day, Joes think they're celebrities. And that's what happens. And, I think, when people start getting followings and stuff, and this is why I pray to God every time. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to blow up. I just want to be a voice for people to take in when they can, pass by. I don't want to be famous. Somebody was like, I can make you famous. I'm like, I don't want to be famous. All right. I want to be like Thomas Sowell. Sowell wasn't all over the TV. You know what I mean? He did his Hoover Institute. He dropped his knowledge, and then he was out of there taking pictures. He liked photography and stuff. I like doing that. Like, let me just do the commentary and get out, because I think the more you get sucked into those lifestyles, individuals start to lose themselves, because you have to think about it. The more you get sucked into the system of things, the more Satan has you. And people forget that Satan was able to offer Jesus the world. So we already know whose hands this world is lying in. So we can't get too sucked up into it, anything of it, really. You got to keep that faith in God. The growth of misinformation really concerns me. TikTok is full of it, and the youth are just eating up. That's because the schools have convinced our children that we create toxic elements by just trying to teach them fundamental ideas. Like I can't believe how much kids rebel, the fashion in which kids rebel against their parents. And a lot of it is because they're not teaching our kids the same psychology that they taught us. They're teaching our kids that we're toxic. Billy Porter, Don Lemon, and Lil Nas X are the standard barriers of Black masculinity. So say the culture elites, please. Don Lemon? Are you serious? Don Lemon is not, he's the standard, are the standard bearers of Black masculinity? Yeah, Don Lemon. The guy who talks about white men being terrible, but yet lays down next to one every time. That Don Lemon. And don't get me wrong, I've played in the snow too. I have no problem with interracial dating. But I'm not race peddling. I'm not talking about, I can't even think to have a whole white boyfriend or mate, and then I'm telling people that white men are a detriment to people's health. People are looking at me like I'm crazy. They were looking at him like he crazy. Like, how the hell you sleep with this woman? And she talking about you, her oppressor. If I was somebody, like I said on LinkedIn, if I was somebody's white mate, and I heard my Black mate talk about I'm their oppressor and I'm a detriment, I'd be sleeping just like this. Just making sure one eye open, because I can't trust you with rhetoric like that. But anyways, you guys, have a good evening. We got some nonsensical things going on in our community. But I think the best way to kind of take it in, when we're going through our respective conversations, is to just slow down, take in what people say, and try to keep our emotions as controlled as we can. But we have to be a voice for the truth of right, and even just conservatism, because to me, conservatism takes us back to those fundamental times where people were accountable. You know what I mean? I feel like we live in a world where people are not accountable. They are sellouts. I look at Lil Nas X as a sellout. I look at him as a sellout. You are willing to emasculate your brothers for the coin. So he's a Black sellout, in my opinion. And Black people should unsubscribe if you are subscribed to Lil Nas X ASAP. Because subscribing to Lil Nas X is like being subscribed to Satan, the devil himself. or a demon. If you don't subscribe to demons, don't subscribe to that. So have a good evening, everyone. And I will catch you all on the flip side. And we just got to keep pushing out common sense. Pushing out common sense, but let's keep the emotions intelligent. And I think we'll get effective, guys. I mean, it takes a village to get people right. You said none in your opinion, Joseph. You know what? It takes a village, Joe. Let's keep talking logic. Let's keep talking truth. And I think we'll get there. You guys have a wonderful evening. Bye.